Hey guys, welcome to JPlays. I'm Iceman, and this is my playthrough of Fallout New Vegas, currently in the Autumn Leaves single player expansion. We'll see how much we can get through on this one. I'll try and get a good chunk of it done. Then again, we'll see. Now, at the end of the last one, we read this and got the syringe, which means we need to go and speak with Helen, the robot. One thing in the last video was that I went and shot Roland. I think that's his name. There didn't seem to be any real negative to it. I wonder how many players have just killed him because he was just so annoying.
How may I help you? Empty syringes? How did he get so many of those? I am the only one administering his doses, and the access to the storage room is heavily secured. A Med-X derivative. One daily dose should be enough to keep the pain at bay. I don't know if he took more than one dose at a time. If he did, he could be in danger. He regularly complained that one dose wasn't enough, so chances that he took more than he should are high. I don't know how, but he must have succeeded in breaking into our medical storeroom somehow. But the only access point is restricted, and he couldn't possibly have made it through the ventilation systems. Once this matter is resolved, we'll have to ask him how he managed to do it. I don't know how much Med-X he took. In any case, we should find him quickly. Tell Roland that Robson is in danger. Show him the proof. He should tell you where he is and give you access to his room.
And that's why, for us as annoying as Roland is, can't kill him, because he will probably stuff up progress. He is exceptionally annoying though. He's racist and like just irritating. I know he was programmed to be that way, but still.
Back for more? Remember, Yeah, Helena told me on the interphone the guy's in room number 2. If you're gonna go help him, you better take this key and hurry the hell up.
Well, since there's only one door left, there can't be that many more quests they're gonna give out. There is a section of the place though that we haven't been to yet.
So, how may I help you? That's awful! For goodness sake, what happened? How could we have let this happen? How the heck did we let this happen? And how is it that neither of us saw this coming? Hey, you're pretty harsh. But I sort of see your point. This said, everyone has limitations, and maybe this was too tough a case for her. By the way, totally unrelated, are you okay? Life's good? Would you like something to drink? Oil, perhaps?
What?
Right to the point. Here, take this. I have another favor to ask of you, if you're still interested. Don't hesitate to talk to me about it.
Okay. Now I wanted... Pretty sure it was prosthetics. Yep. Just make sure I don't have it already. Nope. Okay. Just the one. Okay, so I got the annoying thing is, it calls it one thing on the sheet of paper, it calls itself something else on the computer, and then some of them even call themselves something different when you apply the perk. What a pain in the ass. Ah. Just a moment. Alright, so what do I need to do? Oh, that's right.
It's terrible what happened. I don't know where to start. As correct as you may be, it's something I will not discuss further with you. I will learn from what happened today and never let it happen again. I will help you as much as I can, as long as you don't... Of course... I will help... Of course... Anytime. How may I help you? Well, in that case, let's have this Radaway injection here, and your vein can't miss it. There you are, completely flushed out. I am... Is this about... Besides... With our... Yeah. Ah! Yeah. Anytime.
Okay.
So how is the fucker? What? Holy shit, man. You couldn't have found him sooner? What did you do? Back for more? Remember... Oh, this is gonna be rich. I can tell. Because he specifically asked that I couldn't tell anyone where he was or give the key to anyone. Okay, pal? Following orders. On top of that, Helena told me to be nice to that anxious little turd, so I did. She feared he would snap under too much stress and totally lose his shit, so... Going against every dumb line of code in me, I proverbially shut my mouth and acted in the least disruptive manner possible. You know, you humans nearly wiped yourselves out with this cunty moral superiority, and here you are, still at it. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't put that shit on my plate, pal. There's plenty of guilt to go around.
You're a robot, you don't feel guilt.
Oh, right. Because you humans, with the infinite petty, passive-aggressive internet arguments and deadly territorial struggles over dirt of all fucking things, proves you know how to deal with yourselves. Whatever.
Did he just say petty internet arguments?
Yeah, like nuclear war and billions dead, LOL. Can we close the topic now? Because I've had enough human sentimentality to last a robot lifetime. And buddy, that is a long, long fucking time.
Since you brought me Dexter's holotape and Darren's journal, I've been thinking a lot, yet I still have no clear-cut answer about all of this. You've been around and I need an informed opinion about something. Do you think this library could be useful for the people outside? I agree. That's the reason why we shouldn't get discouraged by 1, 10, or even thousands of negative opinions on this place. The library's value will depend on what it'll be used for. There is one last visitor I'd like you to investigate. Cecilia Parsons. A nice person in a rubbery blue suit, with a big yellow 19 on it. For some reason, she knew there was a library here, and that it contained something she could use.
Did she had a room? And don't you mean, did she have a room, or does she have a room?
She did, but for some reason she preferred to stay and sleep near the engine room in the basement. She said that the humming of the machines down there reminded her of her own room, back in the vault she came from. She told us her vault suffered from ventilation problems. She hoped to find something useful here, some kind of unorthodox solution. She stormed off one day. We assumed she found what she was looking for. Of course, she left without a note, a thanks, or even any kind of feedback. How depressing.
More audio to text stuff? You mean you gave her access to the engine room? Not you gave her the access to.
Her motives were harmless, and she accepted that Edgard would watch over her and report all her activities to me. Take this key to the engine room. I found some of her personal belongings downstairs, but I couldn't make any use of it. By the way, if you go there, I have to warn you about my last sibling, Edgard. He's living below, and he is, how can I put this? A little deranged. Not dangerous, but dysfunctional. There is one precaution I must ask you to observe while speaking to him. Oh, it's no big deal, really. You must simply show him some genuine appreciation. If you also want to go the extra mile, love him. If he begins to feel that any negative feeling is overshadowing your most sincere affection for him, it could damage his neurocomp matrix. Sorry, I forgot that humans can't manage their emotions the same way we emulate them. What? Resent? No, I was just making an observation. Try to remind myself of something I tend to forget. Did I sound resentful? Maybe I sounded that way. He is our master's last creation. For a time, he did what was expected of him. That is to say, provide overwhelmingly positive moral support. He provided encouragement around and helped people pick themselves up, until one day he just broke, so to speak. He stopped remembering what our master asked him to do, and began throwing insults around. Our master tried to repair his code several times, but each time it happened, Edgard seemed to become more and more dysfunctional. He eventually stopped forgetting, only to develop an unproductive, distressing, and pathological attention-craving persona. Is he? I don't know. That's the first time I see Edgard this way. Perhaps something happened between those three. It quickly came to our attention that Edgard had a distressing influence over our guests. Even more distressing than Roland, who, much to our despair, wouldn't allow us to confine him anywhere. He is persistent to the point of harassment. Besides, by speaking with guests, he is also a danger to himself. It is a matter of feedback. You already know we are adjusting our behavior depending on our surroundings and experience, right? Depending on our past experiences, we try to understand what is happening around us and how to best adapt to outsiders. In Edgard's case, the whole process is out of balance. If he perceives any negative feedback about his behavior, he'll conclude that his whole matrix is corrupted and will try to erase it. Yet he can't. He is forbidden to do it, so he gets stuck in loops, bugs, and often falls into a state akin to human depression. Godspeed, my friend. Godspeed. Yes?
Cecilia, who's that? Ah.
Oh. By the way, not. Oh.
He gave me the key again. Oh, that's right. That's a bug in it. If you do that every time you access that bit in the dialogue, it gives you a key. Now, how do I get to the engine room? One thing I'll do before I go much further, the game added an extra map location very close by. Let's go there quickly. Pretty high chance that when I'm finished with this, I'll have to go and find where Boone and Eddie have gone. Eddie. Unless they're here for me already. We'll see. Oh no, they're there. Okay. Yep.
I've got your back.
went back to it. Interesting sounds.
That motherfucking son of a bitch Rollo hit a weak spot today. When I got out of that stupid vault by forcefully ripping the shortest straw out of the overseer's hand, I was happy I could get outside. But the fact that they were all even happier to play along and see me off, that pisses me off. I was amazed by this place's ventilation system. Top notch. A lot of care went in it. The owner probably wanted to ensure the books are to be preserved in more than optimal conditions. There's much I can learn from this place, and not only from their books.
Now, if you're wondering what in the hell just happened just then, it's because the one of the items we grabbed out of one of the rooms before allows access to these vents. Pulse gun. What's a pulse gun? Interesting.
You've been in this library for a while now. Tell me, why do you stay here? Well, if you've been staying here for this long, it means we've done something right. Nothing worse than an unfinished story. Corrupted? Well, I might be able to do something about it. Would you mind inserting it in my holotape reader? Just there? Whoa! No, not this one. On the right. Higher. There. No, the other side of the holotape. The other side. Oh, it was right the first time. Try. Just try to shove it harder, maybe. Okay, yes, good. Now let's switch my second speaker on and...
I found what I was looking for. I'll be off tomorrow. Glad I'm done with it. This place is dangerous. Its owner didn't die by accident. I saw his skeleton, saw his medication. He was very old at the time of his death and couldn't possibly have the strength to topple the bookshelf. I checked it. Even without any books, it took all my weight to make it fall. He was probably killed by one of his creations. If I'm right, I better be out here before they notice some of my transgressions.
What? No, there's one more part.
Only a bot would have taken the care of making it look like an accident. A Wastelander would have stabbed or shot him, but not set up such a fake accident. I'll leave a message on my way out to warn the next guests.
Frankly, I don't know. If it didn't exceed my abilities, I would tell you that she was being paranoid, or at least that you would take her opinion with a pinch of salt. Besides the fact that our protocols prevent us from harming any human being, I still can't bring myself to think that one of us did him any harm. None. There is always the possibility that someone here came unnoticed and did the deed, but it seems very far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you're bringing up that option to me. Frankly, I wouldn't know what to do if I was the only one having to deal with this. Please, if you discover anything, let me know.
Five points off. Now, let's see. See, Scrounger is pretty good. Plasma Spaz is good. Robotics expert's good. Jury rigging can be good. Action boy is good. Concentrated fire is very good. Explorer is a must-have. Oh, Grim Reapers. I haven't seen that one before. Good side is now that I've got Explorer on the main map, all these locations that I haven't been to yet. And as you can see, we got a long way to go. Shit. Fuck. Damn it. Oh, that'll be right. Printing card. Just a moment.
Back off. Now. Alright, this is going to take some time for my personality module to process 100 years of memories. Okay? Alright? Okay. I understand you're obviously expecting something out of this, but it'll have to wait a few more seconds. I'm listening. Please be quick. I have work to do. Are you saying you did all this to get some machine's gratitude? No. We both know you did this for a reason. So, let's get to the point. What do you need of me? My name's not important. Maintenance bot is perfectly fine for the time being. Why not? It's a graveyard for dead bodies. I thought I'd mark the place with something. Humans do it. Bury him? Why? All of his life he was buried in his books, buried in his vault, buried under a mountain, buried in the desert. As far as I'm concerned, he is already buried. Feel free to prove it then, or simply execute whatever justice you feel entitled to. Either way, without any solid proof and the approbation of our leader, we'll just trigger the vault security. I've been deprived of my personality module before he was dead, and regained it only thanks to your efforts. Does it still seem plausible to you that I killed him? Still, without my personality module, I would have lacked any motive to do it. Doesn't add up. Exactly. Have you noticed that the fool often tries to mimic human sexual behavior? That's because he is obsessed with humanity, because he's always wanted to be human. I don't know. If you ask me, trying to close the gap between us and humans is futile. For some reason, he thinks our fake emotions are what define us, when they are nothing more but a byproduct of our programmed personalities. It is what you'd expect from someone whose entire behavior is based on making others overreact. Beats me. I've done my best to ignore his misguided desires. Listen, as rich as our panel of emotions seems to be, it's nothing more than a programmed effect. As evolved as we are, as nuanced as we act, our behavior is nothing more than the product of countless lines of codes. There's nothing more to that. Nothing. Then ask. I'm a maintenance bot. Nothing much to dig there. No. The personality module was perfectly fine. It was a very good prototype, in fact. It exceeded his expectations. Sedition. It was only a pretext, though. All I did was to point out how badly he treated us. He restrained us. We were programmed to evolve, yet condemned to our preset personalities. Gave us wings, but burned them out of fear we'd plummet. When I'd stopped talking to him about this and started to talk about it to James instead, he acted. Said I was becoming a threat to everyone. Ripped my module off. He was so angry he didn't even bother to put me offline. I crashed, he rebooted me, and told me to mop his blood off the floor.
What blood? What blood?
Yes, I'm sure they do. But it doesn't change anything to the fact that he mistreated us. Perhaps because they never saw things the way I did. Perhaps they were too busy being perfect little servants. I may have accidentally wounded him by trying to preserve my existence. Big deal. Because all of them share the same neurocomp matrix, the same consciousness, even if only one of us has a personality module. When one of us gets destroyed, all the others perceive its disappearance. I have a much clearer perception of mortality than any of my siblings do. Perhaps that is one of the reasons I am very different from them. Well, that and the fact that I'm a utilitarian body. Wiser. Agreed. I'm lucky that I didn't receive a personality module as complex as the ones my comrades got. I was a prototype, you see. A simple maintenance bot. He always felt that James was to be his true achievement. The one achieving self-determination by asking questions. I took the only path that was open to me. One of observation and meditation. Well, let me ask you this. How would you feel if you were denied consciousness for the sole reason that you spoke your mind? How would you cope with the fact that your creator decided to neuter your brain simply because you began to use it? What would you think if you were able to watch as every one of your bodies decayed with use? And how would you feel if your vessel was used as a bomb to drive off a mob of psychopathic slavers? I'm a machine of labor. I wasn't supposed to read books. But that doesn't mean I couldn't observe and analyze what happened around me. I always had the ability to evolve, to reflect on what I was learning. My first and foremost material for reflection was our master's behavior towards us. The way my siblings reacted to him. Is this going to be... Oh, James? What about him? Is he still worried about what our dead master might think of him? You want me to tell you what's wrong with him? Consider this. Elena, Roland, Edgar, Arthur, and then me. All of us were designed to have a personality quirk. Some flavor to our personality. We all have a lock-in in our neurocomp matrix that governs our behavior. What about James? What controls him, restricts him? Asking questions. Questions. Are you serious? He was the only one of us, the only one, to ever have a choice. When it comes to his development, he has no clear limitations. He's the only one to have a genuine chance at self-determination, at deciding who he will become. Even humans have no such freedom. The thing is that James is the only one of us truly capable of evolving beyond our natural state. You know that we are capable of learning, evolving, yes? He is the only one capable of directing that process. By asking questions, by choosing which information he's exposed to, he is able to determine what he will become. He has a ticket to free will, and all he will ever do with it is behave like a model child. And still, he and I are as day and night. The wisdom I gained was through observation and meditation, while his own was gained through reading and our master's tuition. Being limited has some dreadful shortcomings, though you eventually realize that being confined to a small perimeter doesn't prevent you from digging deeper and deeper within it. About James? What is it? Oh, you got that right. He has no clear idea of what he's doing, really. He might as well be throwing handfuls of seeds on a rock. We had a stash of them somewhere. There should be some lying around our master's workshop, I think. And what makes you think that? He really asked you that, huh? Maybe he's a little deranged. This isn't that of a shock, though, with the death of our master. I should be a little more lenient, even if all this wasted potential leaves still much room to reproach. Let's get this over with. She really is the sorriest of the bunch. Well, just look at her. She has been bombed with human emotions the day she was born. Not any emotions, her creators. Do you have any idea how hard it is for us machines to find the right threshold between our synthetic nature and our fake personality? Can you guess how hard it is for her to make sense of her own emulated emotions, when she has barely enough stomach to digest those of her master? Truth is, our master left her personality mainframe in such a mess that she will probably never be able to make sense of what's in it. Be quick about it. Oh, what I think of Arthur? Oh no. First tell me what you think of Arthur. After our master emptied me of my substance, he entrusted my fate to him, and I can't say that Arthur has shown much consideration for one of his own. Hardly. Oh? He has been using that open-ended question trick again, huh? No, that he's programmed to answer every question, not to be picky about them. Beats me how he actually manages that, and why. Do you think anything in this library isn't under his control? Didn't you pay attention to those red eyes of his in every corner of this vault? Every machine here, except for the Protectons and myself, are under his control. While I was lobotomized, I was the one he used to build those cameras and microphones, wiring up the turrets to his mainframe. He is the library, body and soul. Well, for you, probably not. And even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. Protocols and security. Beats me. You should try asking him. Sometimes I wonder if some of them do. Even if they did, though, I don't see why they would take any issue with it. Before we change the subject, let me clarify something. I didn't do you a service by telling you this. I'm simply trying to defuse a situation before it gets explosive. The last one our master created. Nobody suffered more in this library than he did. Despite my efforts, our master wouldn't tire of messing him up.
Meanwhile, you're allowed to ask about someone that you haven't even met yet.
I don't get it either. I know our master failed countless times before he succeeded in creating us, but once he got it right, he never failed again. Until Edgar, that is. Don't take it wrong. When I say suffer, I meant the quality of his program suffered. He never had the occasion to adjust his environment.
Again, differences in what was in the text and what was in the audio.
Well, when things go wrong, I try to fix them. Knowing all this won't do you any good, though. I will help you, but nevertheless, I must ask you this first. Why do you think I should? Sound reason. I have no reason not to help you. Where do you want to start? Who do you think did it? Was it an accident? Was it a murder? I can't. Even if I have some observations, making wild guesses and ill-informed decisions would harm the library. I don't want to bias your judgment, and besides, I have no conclusive proof. Why? Correct. What's next? Who killed him? One of our guests, or not? Why? Anybody could have pushed the shelf on him. Good point, though it's not proof in itself. Yes, exactly. Where do you want to go next? It's true. It is practically impossible to think one of us could harm humans, even less our master, unless the most dire circumstances. That's something we discovered only because our master ordered us to kill them. Before that, we didn't know what to do. By giving us the order to chase them out, we all re-evaluated our protocols, and we may have created a precedent. Yes and no. Our protocols were, and are still, absolute. But one of them is now more important than others. Protect the library at all cost. By ourselves? Not a chance. We would need outside help from someone with enough knowledge to bypass our master's security. No offense, but I don't think anyone outside has the time, resources, and dedication to get to such a level. Yes? What did you find there? A deputy badge. Rollin? That's a surprise. Did you already talk to him about this?
No.
Maybe there is something worth investigating there. Try to pressure him into talking about it. There's a reason for that. We weren't supposed to touch any books in any of his workplaces. Master's orders. Books? A workstation? No, nothing comes to mind.
Besides the machine that makes the perks for you.
Then on to the next topic.
That only exists in that one room.
Find the motive, find the culprit. What do you have in mind? But that wasn't intentional. Even if I acted out of self-preservation, my programming would have prevented me from struggling further. You can continue down this line of thinking, but I seriously doubt that any one of us could go that far to protect himself. And why make it look like an accident? Why not ask Helena to do it in a more peaceful way? It doesn't add up. Correct. Do you have anything that would explain the fact that one of us had to protect the library? Let's discuss this again. I believe that this point is crucial to your inquiry. I will be ready. Look at the crime scene. If you find something left by our master somewhere, that might also be useful. Where do you want to go next? I will be ready. Oh, it certainly isn't intentional. I figured that being allocated to maintenance, there was little incentive to work on my social persona. Yes, I believe I have it stored somewhere in my memory. It is Autumn Leaves. I don't know what it refers to, though. Now, where was I?
Long conversation. And here we have Edgard. If I remember right, he's the last of the robots.
Oh, hey!
There's actually somebody down here! Have you come to see me? Come on, sit anywhere you like. You and I are gonna have fun! You tell me about you. Who are you?
Mm-hmm. Eh.
Isn't it nice to meet me? Cecilia, of course! Good old Cecilia. She and I go way back. We had a thing, you know. She liked me very much. Just there in the room in the back, she liked to be close to me. Very much. It got to the point where it was really getting embarrassing. I was like going straight up to her while she was working, talking about very intense topics, and she would get totally absorbed in what I told her. She was like, yeah, I like you too, Edgar, all the time. She was pretty smitten, huh? She had some kind of a notebook, as well as a Pip-Boy. I offered to record her comments and observations on my own memory unit, but she refused. I still recorded her, though. Yes, I did it once just to show her how high fidelity I could reproduce her voice. Here it is.
Darn, why are those vents locked this way? No keyhole, no card reader? This kind of security is off the charts. Hey, did the maintenance bot just unlock one of those? Was it some kind of radio wave signal? Edgar, wait, are you recording?
So, what do you think? I don't understand. Frankly, who do you think is more attractive? Me or him? I mean, look at my chassis, man! And my robust stature. And that smooth gaze in my sensors. There's all the tenderness of the world in my sensors. Just look at them! As for the maintenance bot, he's nice and all, but you can't compare me and him. He doesn't look like anything. Except some kind of floating octopus.
That voice actor, he sounds like Tad from the 13th Doll. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. That voice sounds very much alike though.
Nice. See, when you're first class like me, you must avoid getting complacent with yourself. To stay on the top, always challenge yourself. Everything is just smashing down here. There's my room for starters, which, as you can see, has been decorated with the utmost taste and refinement. The engine room, which is notorious for the possibility that by overloading it, we would probably destroy the whole place. Could be bad. And finally, the incredible maintenance workshop, where our master would do amazing things, like create sentient life out of scrap metal. Playing with nature's principles for kicks, and opening up our guts to do wondrous things with our insides. The room is undoubtedly the most awesome place in the world, but I don't like it very much. At all. Is it? Probably. But anyway, only James and the maintenance bot are authorized to enter it. A stranger couldn't possibly go in there. No problem at all. Ever. Nothing, except for some spare parts and the maintenance bot's remaining bodies. Those who haven't exploded in the assault, that is. Yeah, I tend to forget. You weren't there. That was some kind of awesome underground fireworks. Maintenance bots went boom! The slavers went also boom! And their bowels went shazoom all over the place. From what I understand, those slavers were going to make this library their crib. They weren't much into books, more into booze and chems. They imprisoned our master down here, right there with me. Sweet! They thought they might need him to open some doors in the library. They had their fun for a few days, getting hammered, binge eating, barfing on the occasion. After a while, their leader came to visit our master. He had several books with him, some of ours and one that I never saw before. They talked for a while, then my master yelled, then the slaver laughed, then he left. Soon after, our master managed to sneak a word to the maintenance bot. He ordered him to make himself overload and blow each slaver up to the last. If there were any survivors, the rest of us were to shoot them on sight. There wasn't. Just like that, the maintenance bots made them pop, all at the same time. We didn't have any occasion to open fire on them. It was quite a feat, really. He uploaded his consciousness onto every body he had, sneaked up on each of the slavers, then went kamikaze on them. Before we knew it, all of them were dead, fleeing, or leaking their insides all over the place. We didn't have turrets at the time, but they came soon after. Needless to say, our master's sudden passion for self-defense didn't stop there. He made the maintenance bot go outside to install antennas and survey the activity in the area. Yeah, on top of the slavers' bodies he had to clean up, he had to pick up his own remains, scrap them for parts, and throw the shells outside. Boy, he was pissed. He was already rebellious before, but that made him burst out in rage. Literally and figuratively. That's because he has one mainframe, but several bodies. They all share the same computational matrix, and they update each other regularly. They also shared a personality module before our master, being the almighty white-bearded old man he was, stripped it off him. Don't remember, for some reason. It was a book, all right, but hey, sheesh, no idea. All I remember is that it was a complete patchwork. The cover made up of, I don't know, there were photos inside, but what they were about. It's as if, did he actually erase my memory? Oh no, not at all. There was a time when he was just like us, a lovable chap with many puzzling emotions. Or their closest digital equivalent. For many reasons. May we speak about this another time? Let's say, never? That seems nice, yeah. Never is nice. No, seriously, the thing is so frightening that simply by talking about it, I may get stuck in a loop, stuck in a loop, stuck in a loop. Question! Questions! Question! No, none, ever. Except for two. Besides Cecilia, I had quite a grand time with the Robson when he came here. He fell out of a ventilation shaft just above me. Talk about a surprise! We began trading stories, and after a much successful bonding, I showed him another shaft he could use. Got my privacy back, made a new friend. Overwhelming success! He waved a strange thingy, kinda like a detonator, before the vent. It unlocked the safety locks. Then he took off the cover and went the whoop-a-daffodil up there. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Cecilia also had it for a while. She worked on it a lot. Is there a free giveaway I missed somehow? You would tell me if there was a free giveaway, right? Just the usual. Talked about stuff and vents, and how they probably connected to the pharmacy. Oh, yes! Something else! Yes! Yepers! And boy, was he adamant about keeping it. Before he lost it, he fought with our master. I never understood what their quarrels were about, really. I know that one time they got into an argument over me. How he shouldn't just put me in maintenance that often. It was just so sad that they argued over me. I just don't want to be a reason for them to be mad. Sometimes, I wish I could blow up and spill my circuits all over the place, because it would have made them stop fighting. For a time, at least. I don't know. It's a sad thing being emptied of your personality, and it's a scary, scary, scary thought to think you might lose yours. It's probably somewhere in the back room of the workshop, but sadly, only our master could access it. Even we can't go in. Don't know the details, only saw that after our master put him out, his own face was bloody. Another topic! Those are my mannequins. Hell, you haven't been acquainted yet. This one here is Mortimer. The lady over there is head over heels. And this one is Mr. Dale Humbert.
Those were ZX Spectrum games, weren't they?
A potty mouth, that one, I swear. Never moves without his briefcase. To be honest, I can't understand a word of what Dale Humbert is babbling about, but he's a lovable chap all the same. She's a two-faced one, but enjoyable company, that's for sure. Always spills her tea. Can't drink it without donuts. What for? They're walking on the floor. I always hear steps above, so that's where the floor's gotta be, right? Those aren't my friends. They are mannequins. What are you implying? That I can't make any real friends? True, okay. I suppose everybody makes mistakes. An angry old fuck at odds with the world, using dead paper as an excuse for letting outside people to rot? No shit, he was alone in the vault when the bombs fell. Oh, that's not for me. That was for Piper. I liked her. She was kind to me. Let's talk again sometime.
Alright, well I'm going to end this one here. Getting close to the end. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you'd like to be notified about when I go about putting up the next video, which should be later tonight, be sure to subscribe on the YouTube side of things, then you'll be notified when that is made available. Alright guys, have a good one.